Dosha, Meads Madaka Behobamia, Meads Shana King, Meads Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara. Hello, my name is Holy Owl Woman. My English given name is Shauna King, and I am Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara. And Michael, I am so excited to see you today. You were the first person that I text, and I was so excited about today's Supreme Court ruling with ICWA, how they left it completely intact. And that is a win for Native families across the nation.
Hello, Shauna. It's great to be here with you. You're absolutely right. Michael Weska from San Diego, California, Native advocate. And I am so glad to join you this afternoon, Shauna, because you're right. It is a win. What an emotional roller coaster this has been. The attack on Native people and Native families and Native children. We all can rest a little bit easier today, knowing that the Supreme Court found ICWA to be constitutional. And that's just like, I mean, I don't know about you, Shauna, but this last 8 months has just been so nerve-wracking, right?
Yes, I agree. And the fact that the Supreme Court felt that ICWA puts the best interest of Native children and Native families first is amazing. Although it has been it has been opposed before. This probably won't be the last time it's opposed, but I think this is the perfect opportunity to educate everyone on the principles of ICWA and how they can start implementing it within their jurisdictions, but also how they can apply it to families that are not necessarily Indigenous, but have the principles to keep families together.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And, you know, our first webinar for folks that are listening to us now, if they haven't checked out our webinar, they should really go back to the BPNN website on the Children's Trust Fund website Alliance and see that, because, you know, I think to your point, Shauna, this isn't the first time this has been challenged, but we have some momentum because so many folks got together and recognized the value of ICWA, recognize this is the gold standard in child welfare. And so our conversations have really been about how do we make sure that not only do we learn and understand the principles and the core practice, but how can our friends actually implement them in their day-to-day work, right? And what a difference it would make for every child if every child could benefit from that. I think it's just incredible.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And so one thing that I have learned from the history of the United States is that we've taken a lot of things from Native American culture, right? And I think we are learning a lot about our history, especially from oral Native history, right? But one thing we can take from this is that ICWA is the gold standard, and that implies the best intentions for families to keep them together, to help them heal and to help them grow and help them keep their cultural identity intact. So even if you're not Native, you still have a culture and you still have a space and you still have family, right? That you want to be there for. So I think with our next webinar series, that's where we're going to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you know, you were one of the first people to text me. I talked to an elder that I know, and she actually was in tears over this. And she said there's some relief here because she went to a boarding school. She was sent off to a boarding school, and to actually hear the Supreme Court acknowledge and keep, in her words, keep a sovereign promise and treaty. That doesn't happen often. It hasn't happened in history. And so for her, it was so good to know that this one, you know, we got past this one too. But to your point, Shauna, this has been challenged before, and this is not going to be the end. But if we can educate ourselves, if we can learn more about the principles of ICWA, if we can start applying it to every child and start practicing it, I mean, just think about what a transformation it would make for Native children and those of us who are Native but can't be recognized, right? Being an indigenous Mexican American, these borders weren't always here. And borders came up, my people weren't able to identify as being Native American. And so my children wouldn't be eligible for ICWA. And so having more of a dialogue to really understand why it's important to honor ICWA, why it's important to implement the practices of ICWA and the values of ICWA, it's just going to be an awesome opportunity. And we really want to hope that you are able to attend and all of our friends to come and see what we want to share with you, and to get it from, someone like Shauna, who's this incredible, powerful woman who just really enlightens me every time I talk to her. I'm really excited about this.
Well, I appreciate that, Michael. Thank you for the kudos, but also I think it's important to acknowledge the spirit of ICWA and how can we have that across the board? And what does that actually mean? And how do we do it, right? So I'm excited that we are having our part 2 series on July 11th. And Michael, you know the times, right? I think you had this.
Yes. Thanks. July 11th, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, and 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yes. So we'd love you all to register for this. We also would like your feedback on the first webinar that we did, and want to hear from you and see what you would like to know and any questions that you have that we could answer. I think Michael is, I learned from him. I went and got my ICWA training with him. So I think like he's a perfect person. We are the best that you could ask questions for.
Absolutely. So we're hoping you'll join us. Thanks for listening. We are extremely excited. We can't wait to share our excitement with you. This is just, as you said, Shauna, a win. And it's a win for Native children. It's a win for Natives all across the country. And we know that you can benefit from this too. So we're super excited. And until we meet again, we would like to toast ourselves for today, toast the nation, to toast the people, and look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, July the 11th. Cheers.
Cheers.